Hello, this is C from Curio & Co. I thought that today perhaps we could touch on the learning process of drawing. A few notes before I get started with this. The ASMR track will be available under the British track option as soon as I'm able to upload it onto the channel. This is restricted at the moment. And the second note is that the drawings that you're seeing me create on the video, they are drawings that I usually do for the studio, and hopefully they'll give you a little bit of an insight on my creative process, and hopefully you'll find that interesting and helpful for your own creative process. Now, getting back to the learning process of drawing. The most important thing, obviously, is make sure you practice, because there is no silver bullet that will make a shortcut. Got to put in the time to get the results. And that is really the nutshell of the learning process. Having said that, one of the most important things that you can do for yourself is do a lot of life drawing. Your observation skills are absolutely essential as a creative person. So learn to hone that skill and learn how to literally draw from life. Learn to steal from the artists that you love. Through the copying process, you got to learn to study from the images that you are transferring onto another page or that you're tracing. Figure out what the line is doing. Figure out that what the shapes they're building, why are they making those decisions. So that will require a little bit of research on your end. Don't just expect to just copy it just once and assimilate that idea. It requires a little bit of time. Repetition. Any skill that you gain in life is going to require a specific amount of muscle memory. The great artists and great craftsmen are always people that have done it for a very, very long time. So get the practice hours in. Like Malcolm Gladwell once said, 10,000 hours is the breaking point. You got to put in the hours before you can get a sense of what you need to do. You got to have the right attitude when you dive into the learning process. So if you're upset that you have to sit down and do something, you're going to have a hard time retaining whatever item, whatever element that you're trying to build in your tool set. So have the right attitude, sit down, be conscious that you're making the decision because you want to be there and that you want to learn that specific thing that you could be the anatomy, it could be some coding, it could whatever you choose to be learning. It's okay to be frustrated if things are not coming out the way you want, if you're having problems with figuring out how the form turns on the lips. It's part of the learning process. Just understand that that is going to take time, and then the results will come out. If you're exceptionally frustrated, it's always good to take a break. That there's nothing wrong with that. Open a book, start looking, get recharged from other people's work that you love, or maybe take a walk, do some sports. You can always change the task if you're frustrated, so that you're giving yourself a break to recharge and reset that frustration that you had with a prior task. Learning is composed of different type of tasks. It's not just sitting down and doing drawing. It's also understanding the theory and mixing it with the practice. So read, watch videos, talk to people, experiment. You have different opportunities, different tool sets that you can access through the learning process. Mix them all together. It allows for variety. It allows for different interests to start shining through, and they all come together to give you the knowledge that you need to create. An important thing is also being able to be part of the community. Don't work in vacuum. Maybe you have some friends that have the same interest. Meet together, draw together. Support each other through the journey that you're going through. This is supposed to be fun. You're choosing to learn to draw because you're having fun doing it. So bring somebody else along on that ride. And then you can have an exchange of ideas. You can share what you have learned with your friends. And in turn, they will share what they've learned with you. And believe me, it's a lot faster to learn from somebody that you know than having to make constant mistake because you do not know how to go about it. You're going to shave yourself hours and hours worth of hardship just by learning from other people surrounding you. One of the things that's exceptionally beneficial in the learning process is knowing that you don't know. Be receptive to the fact that you don't know, that you have to go through the learning process to be able to achieve a specific task that you're putting yourself forth for. Stay focused on the learning, on whatever task, whatever subject that you're trying to learn. Find one thing that you're trying to learn, stick with it until you have enough mastery of it so that then you can allow yourself to expand the set of knowledge that you're going after. It's practically impossible to achieve a full mastery of one subject. I mean, you'll achieve a specific level of mastery, but expanding the knowledge then will increase the mastery on the main subject. But stay focused on the goal at hand. Knowledge can be very addictive and can sidetrack you onto something completely different once you start doing a little bit of research. So having a focus in mind on what your task at hand is, like if you're learning the human figure, then learn the human figure. That will translate to the animal kingdom and all the other animals. But first have at least the basic understanding so that when you then translate to a different subject, then you can bring that knowledge across. Seek out the right sources from which you can learn from. Find out how you best learn something. Find the right person, the right group of people, the right book. So if you know that that you learn better from other people, then maybe taking a workshop with an artist, it's the best way for you to learn. Maybe meeting with friends twice a week to do some live drawing, maybe that's the best way to do it. Or maybe you go to the zoo and you do some live drawing at the zoo. Find out what works for you. Learning how to ask the questions will help you throughout your creative career. Don't take everything for granted, everything that is being said to you, even from teachers. Like you need to make up your own decisions. Listen to what they're saying and then take whatever works for you. And maybe you're not going to be able to get all the knowledge that you need right now, or it's not the right time for you to understand what they're telling you. But years later, you're going to be able to recall that specific moment, and that little bit of knowledge that was imparted to you 20 years ago will finally click. Learning requires patience. It's not something that's going to happen overnight. So take your time, and as the weeks go by, you will slowly start seeing improvement. It obviously requires more than just 1 hour's worth of practice in a week. You need to commit the time, but you will start seeing the improvements. It's always useful to stay nimble with what you've learned. Refresh what you've learned, practice it, and then slowly with the muscle memory, it will solidify and become second nature to you. I'll leave you with just a couple of points that should be useful to take home and you can hang on to easily. Never stop learning, be patient, be humble, and practice as much as you can. If you follow these basic things, you're gonna be way ahead of the game and way ahead of a lot of artists that don't put in the time necessary and they don't have the right attitude to be able to achieve the creative goals that they're hoping to achieve. I hope these tips will be useful for your creative process. Let me know in the comments below so that I know that I should keep on making this type of videos. In the meantime, stay curious, keep learning, and stay creative.